going on? Jerome's back in the saddle, and 2024 Minnesota Vikings off to a hot and amazing start, looking damn good against some of the premier teams in the National Football League. Last two games, maybe not so much. Now you could say, yeah, the Lions are looking like a wagon. Vikings have plenty of opportunities, get a first down, and you beat the low-energy Detroit Lions, who allegedly are the best team in the National Football League. And then the Rams, the Rams had a myriad of injuries, and all of a sudden they get their guys back. Oh, Puka's looking pretty damn healthy. And it's a near-run thing at the end, so it sort of is what it is, right? But no crying in the breast milk. They're not going to stop the season because people are sad, and as well as... Actually, I am kind of sad because Christian friggin' Darrisaw is the best left tackle in the game, and losing him with that knee injury, ACL and MCL, prayers up for Darrisaw, and it just sucks, man. Yeah, but like we said, the games roll on down the line, and yes, the actual most accurate power rankings in the known universe come out tomorrow. But looking around the NFL, just taking the temperature of the national media Jabroni haircuts rectally. ESPN, Vikings at 9, down from 6. Best offseason edition. So they have a theme every single week, best offseason edition. AVG, the Vikings front office produced a stellar free agent class. I was told that Kwesi sucks. And the team would not be 5-2 without contributions from running back Aaron Jones, cornerback Stephon Gilmore. Well, maybe not recently. A linebacker, Grenard, Cashman, among others, but none has been as impactful as Van Ginkel, who not only is tied to the team lead with 5 sacks, but also has a unique understanding of the short yardage passing game to return 2 interceptions for touchdowns. He's a legitimate candidate for NFL Defensive Player of the Year. Well, the Vikings will have NFL Defensive Player of the Year. Sexy Dexy Lawrence, one time. Just one time, man. Written by Kevin Seifert, who was not Kroger Schmidt. People don't get that joke. Maybe I don't get it either. The Athletic, Vikings at 8, down 5 spots from number 3. Something scary, Dallas Turner start. The number 17 pick in this year's draft has 1 sack and 3 quarterback pressures through 7 games. That's not great, but wouldn't be cause for alarm unless you dug deeper into the numbers. Turner, a 247-pound outside linebacker, has only played 8 snaps in the last 2 games. In fact, his snap count has gone down each week, starting at 35 week 1 and going all the way down to week 3 on Thursday night against the Rams. Turner's only statistical contribution in his last 4 games is 1 tackle assist. And I know that people are freaking out, and we're going to do a whole video about why shouldn't be bailing on Diamond Dallas Turner. There's a lot of circumstances that contribute to this. And yeah, it would be nice if he was ripping the cover off the ball like Jared Verse, but it is what it is. And the Vikings, like we said, is stacked up at the edge with AVG and Grenard and Patrick Jones and blah, blah, blah. Right? So everything's going to be all right. CBS, Pete Prisco got shorty with the Vikings at 9, down 5 spots. The 5-0 start seems like a long time ago. The defense has fallen apart the last 2 weeks. Losing tackle Christian Darrisaw is a damning blow. And he's right about that defense, man. All right, so the Vikings defense had a great performance against the Niners. They put the bang thing on the Texans week 3, but then starting to show cracks in the second half against the Packers as well as second half against the Jets, and then last 2 weeks just have been dog-walked, right? 4 straight touchdown drives against the Lions, and also giving up 4 touchdowns against the Rams in back-to-back weeks. That's not going to help anyone, all right? If you're spotting the other team 28 points minimum, it's not going to be good. It's not going to be good, man. Yahoo! Vikings at 5, down 2 spots. Last week there are 3, so not as big of a tumble as you would think. Record at 5-2. We have a controversy on our hands. Yeah, the refs missed a call, but that call can't be the excuse for a 10-point loss. They just got beat. Well, the call resulted in 2 points. Now, it was one of those spots where the Vikings did not play well enough to win. We didn't necessarily completely put the loss on the refs. The Vikings were in a bad spot. And yeah, marching down the field for a touchdown 2-point conversion in that spot when the offense hadn't really done anything the rest of the game outside of the first 2 drives. It was unlikely, but the Vikings were robbed of that opportunity. Was it the be-all, end-all? No, but also it doesn't make it right. That's what it comes down to. Sports Illustrated, Vikings at 6, down 1 spot from 5. That's not bad. I'll take that. Darrisaw's injury is a worst-case scenario kind of deal for the Vikings. Sam Darnold has one of the best yards per attempt ratings in the NFL against the blitz, and generally is one of the least impacted quarterbacks in the NFL when faced with the blitz, and one of the 10 highest-graded quarterbacks against the blitz this season, according to Pro Football Focus. While some quarterbacks enjoy a cleaner pocket percentage, losing a franchise tackle is going to create some chaos. That's true. And Darnold has had a penchant to hang on to the ball too long so far this season. Over the last couple of weeks, he can't do that anymore. Without Darrisaw watching his ass on the blind side, he can't do that anymore. So both Darnold and Kevin O'Connor are going to have to adjust. USA Today, Vikings at 5, down one spot from 4, flex into the third exclusive broadcast window in the past 4 games because you had London against the Jets, and then you had Thursday night, and now you got Sunday Night Football against Colts. The listing, Vikings must again prove they're ready for prime time without injured Christian Darrisaw, one of the league's best left tackles. Man, that's what it really comes down to. And don't want to say that this Colts game is the Alamo, but it kind of is if you think about it. Because say the Vikings somehow, some way drop one to the Colts, and it's possible. I mean, the Colts are 4-4, except they're plucky. They've been in every single game, and they're tough, and they will get after things. But the Vikings, if they fall to 5-3, and with the NFL trade deadline being 2 days afterwards, do they stand pat? Or if and when the Vikings win, move to 6-2, who would have knew? Maybe they actually get some freaking help in the division, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, we're right in this thing. Maybe they make that big time move. Maybe they cash in those 2025 chips and really go for that pin. So, I mean, Sunday night really is going to be a turning point for the season, one way or the other. NFL.com, Eric at home. Vikings down to 7. Let's get this out of the way. The missed face mask penalty was a bad look, but saying it cost the Vikings the game is a major stretch. That is a straw man argument. No one is saying that call cost the Vikings the game. It cost them the opportunity to get back into the game, sure, and they should have had that opportunity. But saying that the Vikings were losing that game, so it doesn't matter, it does matter. Getting a call right in a high-leverage spot like that, where the refs aren't the main character, the refs aren't the main storyline for the next week, that's important. It's a bad look for the league. They'd have needed to go 80 yards. Oh, no shit, Sherlock. Yeah. The seeds of the loss to the Rams came earlier with a defense that previously looked like one of the NFL's best, struggling for a second time in a 5-day span. Lions and Rams were tough assignments, no doubt, but the Vikings must be better defensively if they hope to have this season end in the postseason. Since 1990, teams started out 5-0, blah, 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 blah. I think we know where we're going with this. And then Florio, it's not a thermos, did this to the Vikings, dropping them to 10, the lowest of the ones that we sampled. That's feeling like 2016 all over again. Not necessarily. I felt like the 2016 5-0 start was much more of a fluke than this, but there's really no excusing the last 2 games where the Vikings just look night and day like a different team. Basically, the haters and the losers and the Vikings fans who predicted the Vikings to win 5 games this season, I mean, the last 2 weeks are probably how people expected the team to look. But the Vikings got off to that fast start, so they do have a little bit of leeway there, but it's eroding pretty fast, and they got to get something going here very, very quickly. Otherwise, the season could be slipping away. Lastly, 33rd team, Vikings at 7, down 3 spots from 4. After a 5-0 start, the Minnesota Vikings have now dropped back-to-back games in 4 days. However, their 2 losses have come by combined 10 points against 2 good offenses. Combined 10, that's incorrect. It's 12 points, but, they're not really counting safety. Right, but you'll go in toe-to-toe with the Lions. There's no moral victories. The Vikings shoulda, coulda, woulda won that game, and they had their opportunities against the Rams, and then they didn't seize them. Loss against the Rams wasn't all that concerning, but losing star left tackle Christian Darrisaw, ACL, MCL, for the entire season will be costly. The Vikings are still a quality team, but their defense will need to tighten things up if they want to win the NFC North. That's absolutely right. And with the Lions, respect, looking the way that they are, I mean, it could be kind of tough. The Vikings no longer control their own destiny, dropping one against the Rams, but the Lions do play at Green Bay this week. Now, obviously, you're not rooting for the Packers to win, but if the Lions lost, it wouldn't be the end of the world. All right, but bottom line, this is still a good football team. There's still plenty of season left to play, and they got to turn things around, right? And, yeah, you could say that Kevin O'Connell and the Rams in 2001, they lost 3 games in a row in the middle of their season, turned things around, and still won the Super Bowl, but they got to get right, especially defensively, and especially compensating for losing Christian Darrisaw, both in the run and pass protection. So there's a lot of questions, and hopefully we'll get some answers on Sunday night. But your thoughts are thoughts. Taking a look around the National Football League media dial where the Vikings stack up in these Jabroni haircuts power rankings. Let us know your thoughts, our thoughts, their thoughts. Comment section, you know what to do. Skol. production value.